Hi everyone and welcome to TV Talk. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Cindy.
And today we have a special Valentine's Day themed episode to let you know all of the things that you should be watching to get in the mood for Valentine's Day. Our first show that we have in this special Valentine's episode is the Parks and Rec episode called Valentines Day, which is season 2, episode 16. And this one is really cool because, you know, a lot of Valentine's shows always do stuff with like couples and you're kind of like, ugh, maybe this is too much. But Valentine's Day is all about celebrating your friends and all the great friendships you have in your life. And so in this episode, Leslie introduces her holiday and celebrates with her mom and Anne and all of her friends. And while doing this, Leslie learns that her mom met a guy years and years ago, but they could never be together because their parents didn't approve. So Leslie and Anne and Leslie's boyfriend decide to go on this journey to reunite Leslie's mom and her long-lost love. But of course it doesn't go according to plan, and it's really funny because it's Parks and Rec. And also in this episode you have a lot of the supporting characters like Tom and April and Andy. You know, they're all getting into the mood for Valentine's Day. April and Andy, this is early in the show where they're starting to get more and more flirtatious. And so you get to see a little bit of that throughout the episode, which is always cute. And Tom's dealing with his ex-wife, which is kind of sad, but everybody loves Tom, so he'll bounce back. And Anne has to deal with some feelings of her own. She's dating Mark at this time, but she thinks she might still like Andy. So because April wants to go out with Andy and Anne still likes him, that creates even more tension between April and Anne. This is probably one of my personal favorite episodes of Parks and Recreation. It's really funny and it's a great thing to watch if you're looking for something sweet and silly and not necessarily romantic for Valentine's Day.
So the next show that we're going to talk about is Friends. This is basically one of those all-time favorite shows, and one of the most memorable Valentine's Day episodes happens in season 8, and I believe it's episode 16? No. Correction. Season 8, episode 15, and it's basically Valentine's Day, and not everyone is having the best of times. We start off with Ross, who is with then-girlfriend Mona, and he has not yet told her that he's living with his ex-girlfriend, Rachel. So he's like trying to figure out a way to like tell her, but he doesn't like really want to like tell her. It's just very awkward. At one point he's about to tell her, or like tells her like about the possibility of that happening, and she just flat out says no, like no way is that happening. So he puts it off until later. Eventually she actually finds out the hard way by like walking in on them living together, and she's just so mad. So that's one of the big things that happens. So Chandler thinks that Monica has purchased some adult film for them to watch on their Valentine's Day night. Turns out that Phoebe had left a birthing video for Rachel, and that actually ends up being watched by Chandler and Monica. So they get freaked out. It ruins their entire night, and it is just hilarious. And finally, the big thing that happens at the end of the episode is when Joey confesses to Ross that he has feelings for Rachel. And that brings us to some really intense things, but it all works out eventually. So check out that episode of Friends. I think it's hilarious.
So the next show we're going to talk about is Modern Family. This episode is called My Funky Valentine. It was season 1, episode 15. And in this, Claire and Phil decide that instead of doing their traditional movie and dinner for Valentine's Day, that they want to go out and try something new and try to maybe spice things up. So they decide to go to a hotel and pretend to be different people for a night and have some fun. But they get caught in some awkward situations by Claire's father, Jay, and his second wife, Gloria, which is just hilarious, and as it unfolds throughout the episode, it's fantastic. Cam and Mitchell are also trying to do something fun for Valentine's Day, but Mitchell has had a rough week, rough day, and he's just like not really wanting to celebrate, so they end up helping Manny, their nephew, with some romantic problems that he's having. And of course Manny is like an 8th grader, so they're like crashing some middle school dates and it's just chaos, but it has a very cute and very happy ending. And of course Jay and Gloria throughout all of this, they're going on their Valentine's night dinner, and a comedian ends up making fun of Jay because of course he is a lot older than Gloria, and Jay gets very offended by this, and so his night is kind of ruined. And as most episodes of Modern Family go on, all of the stories like come together at the end, and so it's a very great ensemble piece and very funny. And if you're a fan of Modern Family, this is where Clive Bixby and Juliana, like that running gag, got started. So check this one out to figure out how it all began.
So the next episode that we're going to talk about is an episode of Gilmore Girls, and I think that this comes at a very perfect timing considering the Gilmore Girls revival is happening. Netflix finally announced that it is a thing, it is happening, and I am so excited. Like this entire week they have been revealing who's coming back, and it's going to be great. So this Valentine's Day episode is called A Vineyard Valentine. It is season 6, episode 15. Basically, Logan and Rory are going out at the time, and so he invites Rory, her mom, Lorelai, and Luke to join him at their his family home up in like the vineyards. It's called Martha's Vineyard. It starts out being really good, and then Lorelai and Luke are talking about wedding plans. That's like the most exciting part before it went downhill for a bit. But at the end of the episode, Logan's father Mitchum comes and he actually kicks him out of the house. So there's obviously that drama going on. It's a really good episode, and so make sure to check that out.
Our next show is The Office. This is season 2, episode 16, and it's called Valentine's Day, of course. And in this episode, Michael and Dwight head to New York City to meet with corporate to go over some things. And at this meeting with a bunch of the other Dunder Mifflin branches, Michael reveals that he and Jan have kissed and spent time together outside of the office. Jan is just mortified because Michael has exaggerated, and it's just a whole mess. Everybody at corporate is like not cool with it, and so Michael gets himself into a bit of trouble. But he tries to save himself by making a really cute presentation about Dunder Mifflin and how everybody loves each other and they're like a family. But of course this isn't what Dunder Mifflin wanted from Michael, so he has to deal with the repercussions of, as usual, not listening and just doing what he wants. But back in Scranton, of course, because it is Valentine's Day, all of the employees at Dunder Mifflin are, going about their day. Angela and Dwight take a big step forward in their relationship, which is kind of cute in an Angela and Dwight way. Everybody's getting really irritated with Phyllis because Bob Vance keeps sending her flowers, and Pam gets upset because Roy isn't paying as much attention to her as he should because it is Valentine's Day. But even though it's kind of upsetting, there's a really, really cute Jim and Pam moment at the end of the episode. And if you love Jim and Pam as much as everyone does, you will love this episode because it's just really sweet, and it's kind of the start of good things that are to come for them.
So the last show that we're going to talk about is 30 Rock, and the episode that we are going to talk about is called Anna Howard Shaw Day, and it's in season 4, and this is a pretty funny episode. Basically, Liz Lemon has scheduled her root canal surgery for Valentine's Day because she's like scared of being alone, and she just doesn't want to be lonely on Valentine's Day. So she sets up the appointment, and when you typically go and get the surgery, you need to have someone to accompany you once you're done because, you were under anesthesia and you're under drugs, and it's just very, very messy. So she asked her 30 Rock colleagues to help her out, but it turns out everyone else has Valentine's Day plans. When Liz calls the office to let them know that she doesn't have anyone to escort her or to accompany her, they tell her that she has to sign this form in order to say that she will be leaving on her own so that they are not liable for what happens to her. So she gets very distracted after having some really, really fun night. And so when she gets to the surgery, she tells the receptionist that she actually forgot to sign the form, but whatever, she'll figure it out. It's just a mess. So at the end of the episode, Jack actually comes and helps her out, even though he's like been having this really nice night with someone that he met, and it's all alright. Good episode to watch, really funny. It's just very sweet. So that is it for this Valentine's Day themed episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Follow us on all of our social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check out our new website and make sure to tune in for our next episode. We will see you guys then.